Join us this July for our hashtag Stop the Demand campaign as we raise awareness to help stop the demand for pornography and sexual exploitation. We invite you to educate yourselves and others on how the porn industry fuels the demand for exploitation, sex trafficking, objectification, and more. Learn more and get involved in the campaign at ftnd.org/stop. That's ftnd.org/stop.
My name is Garrett Johnson, and you're listening to Consider Before Consuming, a podcast by Fight the New Drug. And in case you're new here, Fight the New Drug is a non-religious and non-legislative organization that exists to provide individuals the opportunity to make an informed decision regarding pornography by raising awareness on its harmful effects using only science, facts, and personal accounts. During these episodes, we cover a wide variety of topics that may be triggering to some. You can refer to the episode notes for a specific trigger warning. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to part 4 of our Get the Facts series, where we explore the research on a specific topic surrounding porn's harms on individuals, relationships, and society to help you be more informed and empowered with the facts. Today's episode is How Porn Can Become an Escalating Behavior. You can find the sources to the claims made in this episode or read along at ftnd.org/getthefacts. Now, let's get to the episode. We've all heard stories from smokers or former smokers that include something like, "It all started with one cigarette, but eventually I was smoking 2 packs a day." It's one of the hallmarks of substance abuse, escalation. Users need more and more of their drug of choice to get the same high, and their pattern of abuse is driven by their need for greater quantity. This is especially true when the abuse is spiraling into addiction. But what about porn? Can porn consumption be an escalating behavior as well? It's easy to understand how a smoker might need several cigarettes to get the same buzz they used to get from one. But no one says, "I had to watch that scene 5 times to get the same feeling I used to get watching it once," about pornography. On the contrary, porn consumers get bored with scenes once they've seen them. It's called habituation. Multiple viewings generally result in less response, not more. But despite those differences, porn consumption can escalate every bit as much as substance abuse or any other addictive behavior. To understand how, let's take a look at the brain science regarding desensitization and novelty. Desensitization, not to be confused with sensitization, which is also interesting and involves becoming highly sensitized or triggered by certain things associated with porn consumption. Desensitization refers to a numbed pleasure response, or an inability to achieve the same high a consumer once did. Desensitization results from too much dopamine, the so-called pleasure chemical. Your brain generates different amounts of it in response to all sorts of experiences, from kissing to looking at something beautiful to eating a great meal. Dopamine is your body's way of telling you, "This is awesome, we should do this as often as possible." Certain activities like drug use and porn consumption turn up your brain's dopamine production as high as it can go. The more time you spend at those elevated levels, the more your brain's dopamine receptors, the parts of your brain that respond to dopamine, start to plug their ears. Think of them like little referees, becoming more and more oblivious to complaining players and screaming fans. Desensitization also shouldn't be confused with habituation, which basically just refers to your brain being bored with a picture or video it's already seen. Habituation is a common response to all kinds of things we consume frequently, from movies to music to food, and everything in between. And it occurs relatively quickly. It's basically the brain looking at something that it's seen before and saying, "Meh, I'm getting tired of that." Desensitization is a much more complicated chemical process that takes place over time with repeated abuse. It's basically the brain looking at something, even if that something is brand new, and saying, "Meh, it takes a lot more than that to get my attention." Multiple studies have demonstrated the existence of desensitization in porn consumers. including one study that demonstrated how the level of desensitization correlated directly with the extent of compulsive porn consumption. The real question isn't so much like, do porn consumers become desensitized? They do. The question is, how do porn consumers respond to that desensitization? In the case of smokers, it's a simple matter of smoking more and more cigarettes. And to some extent, escalating porn consumption can also be just a simple matter of quantity, as porn consumers have more and more viewing sessions, and as those viewing sessions get longer and longer. But look closer, and the real escalation is in what those porn consumers are viewing: novelty. In a pair of interesting studies that were replicated for both men and women, college students were hooked up to instruments that measured their arousal and interest, and were then shown the same pornographic scene multiple times in a row. You can imagine what happened. Arousal and interest for both the men and women were initially very high, but habituation quickly set in and their interest and level of arousal waned dramatically. Then, after many viewings, right as the subject's boredom was reaching maximum levels, the researchers suddenly, and without warning, introduced a brand new pornographic film. What do you think happened? Were the subjects just so bored and over it that they continued in their disinterest? Nope. Bam. Arousal and interest levels immediately shot right back up to where they were before. This phenomenon is often referred to as the Coolidge Effect. The Coolidge Effect has been demonstrated time and again in all sorts of research settings. Put a male and female of just about any type of animal together and they will mate, and then get bored with each other. But replace one of them with a new partner, and even if they're exhausted from mating with the last one, they will attempt to mate again. We are often driven towards sexual novelty. Researchers have surmised that this is because we are driven by a deep biological need to reproduce as often as possible. What this means is that what the porn consumer really wants is not just more porn, but new porn. New people, new imaginary partners, new situations. And as luck would have it, internet pornography offers them exactly the endless variety of sexual partners and situations to attempt to gratify that desire. Dr. Norman Doidge, a psychiatrist and New York Times best-selling author of The Brain That Changes Itself, explains, and I quote, "Pornography satisfies every one of the prerequisites for neuroplastic change. When pornographers boast that they are pushing the envelope by introducing new, harder themes, what they don't say is that they must, because their customers are building up a tolerance to the content." End quote. Consumers may also be drawn to other aspects of pornography: secrecy, shock value, taboos, shame. All of these things offer varying ways to feed a desire for novelty and excitement. And for consumers who consistently view this type of material, it is possible to find their sexual interests eventually deviating in very unexpected directions. In one 2016 study, researchers found that 47% of respondents reported that, over time, they began watching pornography that had previously disinterested or even disgusted them. These findings are consistent with other research that demonstrates that changing tastes and escalation are not uncommon experiences among consumers of porn. None of this is to say that these results are guaranteed, or that everyone who consumes porn will find themselves viewing material they once found disgusting. In the above study alone, if 47% reported they did have that experience, that means 53% did not. It is only to say that when we talk about the potential forms of escalation among porn consumers, it has the potential to be far more than a matter of time. The good news is, change is possible. Research and the experiences of thousands of people have demonstrated that the effects of desensitization can be managed and largely reversed. In fact, even in cases of serious substance and other addictions, research shows that the brain can heal over time with sustained effort. Research also indicates that while guilt can motivate healthy change, shame actually fuels problematic porn habits. So if you're trying to give up porn, be kind to yourself and be patient with your progress. Like anything, it takes time for the brain to recover, but daily efforts make a big difference in the long run. Think of it like a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. The longer you stay away from porn, the easier it is to do so. All it takes is practice. For those listening who feel they are struggling with pornography, you're not alone. Check out Fortify, a science-based recovery platform dedicated to helping you find lasting freedom from pornography. Fortify now offers a free experience for both teens and adults. Connect with others, learn about your unwanted porn habit, and track your recovery journey. There is hope.
Help us #stop the demand for pornography and sexual exploitation. This July, during our #Stop the Demand campaign, you can support our efforts to create and share educational resources that educate individuals on how the porn industry fuels the demand for exploitation, sex trafficking, objectification, and more. Plus, when you donate $50 or more during the month of July, we'll give you an exclusive Stop the Demand tote as a free gift. Donate today at ftnd.org/donate. That's ftnd.org/donate.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Consider Before Consuming. Consider Before Consuming is brought to you by Fight the New Drug. Fight the New Drug is a non-religious and non-legislative organization that exists to provide individuals the opportunity to make an informed decision regarding pornography by raising awareness on its harmful effects using only science, facts, and personal accounts. As you go about your day, we invite you to increase your self-awareness, look both ways, check your blind spots, and consider before consuming.